Can we start? Thank you, Sergeant Ahmed and fellow Chelsea fan. We had a very tight program. We were supposed to have 3 speakers, we are now 4. We'll try to condense whatever it is we have to say, and we will have questions, answers, and comments session at the end. At the end of all, after all the 4 speakers, everybody will be allowed to speak, except the guy who wasn't in the first session. Okay. The title of our session is called Rotary Programs, and our first speaker is no other than Mr. Governor nominee Jamil Awad. Yes, it's very popular. How many can I How many members here have been Rotarians since before 1979? Very many, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, Jamil has been a Rotarian since 1979. He's been a Rotarian for nearly as long as I have been, and that makes him not the youngest. But he is probably one of the best to speak to us today. His title is New Generation in Rotary. Jamil is a member of the Rotary Club of Zat Azrawian. He's been a Rotarian since 1979. His classification is auxiliary. He's currently the district rider chairperson. And there is something wrong with this mic. You'll be pleased to know it's not working. Hello? Hello? He's currently the district rider chairperson and the ICC Inter-Country Committee President, Australia and Lebanon. And he will talk to us for 15 minutes, and I will remind him after 12 that the time is to summarize. Please,
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to talk to you about one of the most important topics. And Rotary is giving a lot of importance about new generations. It gives a lot of recommendations to work with youth, to work with youth in the organization of a lot of programs. What does new generation mean? When we talk about new generation, we refer about the youngest generation in the family of Rotary. We have 2 types. One of them is the participants of Rotary youth programs, which are the Rotaractors, the Interactors, Ridarians, the youth exchange participants, and others who are service-minded oriented in Rotary, who are the members of the Rotary clubs. Rotary is committed from the beginning to youth. Before 1949, we know that youth service was part of our community service. In the year 1949, Rotary International developed the motto, which is a Rotarian is an example to youth. In the year 1960s, we had the Interact and Rotaract. And in the year 1970s, Rotarians developed the programs which are RILA and Youth Exchange. I was selected to talk in this section because I was the district RILA chairperson, and I was involved with RILA during the last 10 years in Lebanon. I was the county chairperson, I was a member of the committee that worked for RILA, and RILA for all of us is a very important program. It is an intensive program to develop the skills of the young people, and at the same time to create for them, to build for them a network that will last forever with them. The goals of RILA are respect and concern for youth. We demonstrate that through our activities and through our programs. We select youth. The people who are selected to participate in Rotary are young professionals or young people who are selected by their clubs. And they are selected because they are good leaders, because they are skilled and talented people, and they are involved in their communities. During the RILA program, we have the opportunity to develop the skills of these leaders. We have the opportunity also to interact with young people. They will interact with each other, and at the same time, and the most important of the objective of this program is to build leaders who can be better citizens in their own communities and in their world. Now, we return to the main topic, which is that youth is our great treasure. Youth is very important for us. Youth not only inspire us to contribute to their development, but also they play a critical role for the future of Rotary. I want to seize this opportunity talking about youth. I want to highlight that from the 15 Rotary or from the 30 years, the last 30 years, we had 15 Rotarians that they were in their early age, between 25 and 37, 38 years old. What do these Rotary International presidents, past, present, and elect, have in common? Kalyan Banerjee, Sakuji Tanaka, Glenn Estes, Frank Devlin, and Luis Vicente Diaz. All of them joined Rotary at a young age, between their early 20s and their mid-30s. We have a challenge. And let's take a look at this challenge of the new generation age group. If we look at all the age groups in the world, as Rotarians we see that we have in Rotary 2% of Rotarians who are less than 30 years old. We have 9% of Rotarians who are less or who are between 30 and 40 years old. 21% between 40 and 50. 29% between 50 and 60. And 39% more than 60 years old. The young people are very few in Rotary. And now Rotary is urging Rotarians to work with youth, to include them in their activities, to know them better, to involve them, and to let them take the decisions, to learn from their mistakes, to be in a good contact with Rotary. That is why we are insisting as Rotarians to have good relation with the new generation, to let them know us and to know them very well. If we see the figures here, we see that we have only 11% who are less than 40 years old. This figure is very alarming for us, and we have to do something to improve the situation with the young people if we want to increase the number of Rotarians. And when I talk about increasing the number of Rotarians, I do not want to say that we want quantity, not quality. We do not want only club members. What we want is true Rotarians in Rotary. And I say the same, I heard in the morning and yesterday, the representative of the president of Rotary International saying that not all Rotaracts can be Rotarians. And that is right. We have to know how to select who are the people who can be Rotarians. They have to be young professionals. They have to be leaders in their business and their professions to be good Rotarians. We have to know how to select them, to take them into Rotary. I want to remind you that when Paul Harris created Rotary, he was 37 years old and not 67. It is not too hard to see where this problem will lead us after 10, 20, or 30 years. If we have a problem in increasing the number of Rotarians in Rotary, we have to do something very soon. We have to do something now. We need to bring in younger members who will give new life, new energy, and new vitality into Rotary. And here I want to talk about change. We talked a lot during those 2 days about change. We see that we cannot continue with the same ways, with the same methods, with the same rules as we were running our institutions 20 or 30 or 40 years ago. We have to change. We have to change. We have to innovate. We have to differentiate. If not, we cannot stay alive. We cannot continue living. We cannot continue our work as we have to do it. We have to differentiate or we will die. For me, the age barrier is no longer a problem. And through the RIDA program, I could notice that when we want to organize any activity, we do not have to organize it for them. We have to organize any activity with them, by them, with the objective of developing their skills. They are our partners in everything we do. For this reason, I can say that when we organize any Rotaract, when we organize any RIDA, when we organize any activity that has any relation with the young people, we have to organize these activities with them in order to let them take the decision with us, in order to let them know us better, and in order to let them learn from what they are doing to be better citizens in their world. If we want to do the transition smoother, if we want the new generation to come to us, what we have to do? We have to work side by side next to them. We have to believe in them. They have to feel that they are important to us, that they are working hand in hand with us, and they are learning from what they are doing with us. For this reason, I insist on, if we want to do anything, if we have anything to do, we have to believe in them. We have to believe that they will be good leaders, that they will be leaders with vision, that they will be leaders with courage, that they will be leaders who we can count on them in the future to have a better world forward. We have to begin with this, and I am sure that the dream that we have, we can turn it into reality, because the work that we are planning to do, it is not only to predict it, we have to create it. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much. I'd like to please to just, if you have any comments to them, just jot them down so that you remember them after the fourth speaker, because we'll take them all at the end. Our next speaker is Mayan Raslan. She's been a past president twice. Her classification is management and PR. She's been a Rotarian since 1999, and she is someone special because she has got, whoever thought that Rotary is just finishing now and dying, Mayan has got 3 children, 2 of whom are Rotaractors and 1 is an interactor. So Rotary does go on very well, and thanks to the likes of Raslan, who is doing much better than I have managed to do.
Dear friends, thank you very much. Just that Ahmed has forgot something very important. We cannot lessen the role of the man. My husband is past president of Cairo West. He's a Rotarian also. So it came from him actually, and they started with him, Ahmed. We have been talking years and years and years of the family of Rotary, of the young generations. What happened? It's true, the family of Rotary. If you just visualize this word in your mind for 1 second, you will know that the family in your house can be a very good example of a family of Rotary and can be the extension and the continuation for Rotary in your life. Because through the young generations, we are giving and teaching them Rotary in our family, in the house. When I sit and I watch television, I speak about Rotary with my son, the interactor with my son, the Rotary actor, and my daughter. So walking with them, working with them through the family is number one, is step number one. It's very important. Okay, quick brief. I'm sure you all know what's Interact, but for just a quick review before we start in the core of the subject, the Interact is the service club, the organization, the RI program from 14 to 18. And now the Rotary International is thinking seriously to start it at 12 years, to start less. Okay, so the most important 6 things to give in the Interact is the nice service project, to give them fun, to create for them fellowship and leadership, and to make them involved and responsible in the society. Okay, very good, nice. We are talking very nice. It's all started, the Interact started in 1962 with the name International Action. It is half of the word international, half of the word action. Okay, now we have more than 265,000 interactors in the world. Okay, quickly also, the Interact clubs are 2 kinds. One is the community-based, one is the school-based. So a Rotary club who sponsors an Interact can choose to either to do it in the school or in the community. If it's in the school, the meetings of the Interact, the advisor, the Rotarian, can only attend the board meetings if it's in the school. But if it's in the community-based club, the Rotarian advisor must attend the meetings, the board meetings of the Interact. They have a board, they have a president, they have a treasurer, they have everything as we do, and they have the committees, the 4 committees that they would start working. It's okay. This is all normal. They meet twice a month and they start to do their projects. They have 2 service projects. One is local, to serve the community local, and one is international. Here is a picture. I'm giving you the real clubs. This is one of the Interact clubs in Egypt. Interact of Arabi. They are working in the big green resort and planting these trees. And here is clothes bazaar. And another one project important for the international, which is basically they work on the. So Interact is one of the most important and fastest growing program in the world. It is. The children are getting a lot of the glitch and they are starting to want to serve and to want to give. Okay. Are we living in paradise? Just look at these statistics please for a while. The Interact clubs now, 13,000 clubs, 217, and the Interact members are 308, okay, and 991. They are more, with a quick analysis, they are more than the Rotary actors. We will come to that later, and I want you to think of the answer. Why they are more than the Rotary actors? The Rotary actors are less in the world. Okay. In the Brazil, India, and the Philippines, and the United States, they have the highest interactors. In Egypt, in the district 2450, what do we have in district 2450? We have 16 clubs in Egypt, 9 in Cyprus, and you can read all the other numbers. 35 clubs all over. Some countries has only 1. Okay. The first Interact was in Tripoli, Lebanon, 1974. Good news. Exactly, Hazem. But I'm very happy to tell you it's already suspended here. Where is it? You already done it in 1974. It's suspended. Hazem is an Interact. He's the first Interact. We have. Okay, and from 1974 to 1995, not 1 club was done. And from 1995 onwards, they all started to form Interact. Okay? We have 5 terminated in the past 10 years. These are the clubs terminated: Alex West, Georgia, Tbilisi, Alex Mediterranean, Georgia, and all this. Okay. Shocking. 25 Interact clubs were organized in 16 years. The average of 1 3/4 of a club per year. Okay. 10 Interact clubs only this year in the district. 25 Interact clubs in 16 years and 10 in 1 year. And I will come to this answer again. So I need from you 2 answers to think of them. Why are the Interactors more than the Rotaractors? And why we had 10 clubs this year and not anything else? Okay. Okay, 8 in Egypt, in Lebanon, Tripoli, and in Jumeirah. Okay? Can I just take my time because Jamil and then we can. Then maybe these are the statistics that were given to me from the RI just a week ago. Maybe you have not yet.
Yes. We can say all the comments until afterwards.
Okay, now think about it. Why we do not have Interact? Why we do not get enough Interact organizations? I was thinking with myself. Partly is the responsibility of the club, the Rotary Club itself. I was thinking of ideas, and I want you also to think of ideas. Is it because the club itself is so busy and burdened by his own projects, by his own time, that they don't have time to give another time for another organization? Yes, probably they have no time. Is it because the Rotary Club itself is not aware how important the Interact is? Yes, probably they are not aware. Is it because that they don't have a young member in the club to coordinate with Interactors? I cannot get the club, a present club with 6 years old to act with a 14 years old guy. They have to have a younger coordinator. Maybe they don't have. Okay. And then all the clubs are giving much more care to the Rotary Act because they are more adult in dealing. Nobody wants to take the burden of dealing with a young kid of 14, 15 years old. I've witnessed this before. Oh, and we are all concentrating on Rotary Actors. Okay. This is from the part of the Rotary Club. They are not forming any Interact clubs. And then also the concentration of the new generations. As Jimmy said, it only started very recently. The RI did not do a separate new generation committee except recently. Before that, it was only part of the club of the youth environment, of the service projects. And clubs, some clubs are totally against having new young members in the club. They think they are too young for them, they are too degraded for them, they cannot deal with them. This is why we don't have Interact clubs. What about when we do have them and they're not active? They freeze, they stop, they don't work. Why? Maybe because there is a mind gap between the 2 ages. This is too old and this is too young. Maybe because there is no information, they're not giving them any awareness. So they're young people, they just get bored, they just go away. Maybe because they are not friendly together, they teach them as they are their bosses, as they are their parents. They're not teaching them, they're not treating them as nice young people. Okay, and there is no time for the clubs to do anything else but their projects. Okay, maybe the Interactors themselves are not interested. I will get back to this in 1 minute because I've seen completely the opposite. They are interested, they're very well enthusiastic. And maybe the Rotarians are not able to let them explore the leadership, how to give, how to donate, how to work. The Rotarians are not helping them do this. That's why the Interactors, they freeze and they don't work. There's a big gap. Think of other reasons. Okay, organize Interact clubs and please don't let them freeze. Now, they need a lot of things. They need from you to help them show them, number 1 is to make the club to get good attendance in a good place that can fit all the members. And teach them how to do nice ice-breaking projects and ice-breaking fun meetings. Okay? Drawing in the meetings. Okay? Give them Interact awareness. Give them sessions. When this Governor Osama called me at this beginning of the year and he told me, Mayan, I want you to be the chair of the Interact Committee. I said, oh my God, Osama doesn't like me this year. Why is he putting me with these young people? What shall I do with these Interactive children? Enough, I have children at home. And oh my God, the experience I got with working with the whole Interactors for a whole year. Dear Rotarians, we have an unexplored treasure. We have an unexplored, neglected treasure in our houses, in our schools, in our playgrounds. You are fearing the future of Rotary. The future of Rotary is in your hands. They are in the house. They are around us. You have to build them now. Next year they will learn more. Next year they will learn more. Then they will go to be Rotary artists. Then they will eventually be Rotarians. They are with us. They are